Hello friends, in this video we will be covering up the presiding officers of parliament. So let's get started. Now we'll be doing the presiding officer in few parts. First is his election, then we'll be taking care of what are the cases where his office becomes vacant, then his removal, then his role and powers and functions in the parliament. So first of all, his election. His election is done by the Lok Sabha members, and president decides the date of elections and direct voting decides the president. Okay. Now he remains in the office till the new legislative assembly gets selected, and even after the dissolution of the legislative assembly or Lok Sabha, he do not resigns. He remains till the new Lok Sabha becomes working, and in that session he resigns. Okay, uh, he keeps the office till the end of the Lok Sabha. There are three ways in which his office can become vacant. One, he ceases to become remain the member of Lok Sabha. He resigns by writing to Deputy Speaker, not to President, and he is removed by a resolution passed by majority of present and voting and 1/2 of the total strength of House. Okay. Then, uh, when resolution regarding his removal is passed, he cannot preside over the House. He remains a member and can vote in the first instance. Now we look at the role of our speaker. Now we need to understand his position is very honorable, supreme, of dignity and authority uh, regarding the constitutional provisions in parliament, as he is the first of all head of the Lok Sabha. Then he is principal spokesperson of the House, spokesperson. Then he is the ultimate authority on parliamentary matters in parliament. Okay, and he derives his powers from three things. One is Constitution of India itself, then the rules and procedures, and then parliamentary conventions. Now we quickly detail out his works. He maintains the decorum. He ensures the order and decorum in the house. One. Then he is the final interpretation of constitution for the parliamentary matters, constitution, and the parliamentary conventions. He takes care of the quorum. He does not vote in the first instance. He sits on the joint session. He can call the secret meeting of the houses. Then he decides the money bill. He decides on the defection under 10th schedule. He is the ex officio head of Indian Parliamentary Group (IGP) and Conference of Presiding Officer (CPO), and he is the chairman. He appoints the chairman of various committees himself, and he himself is chairman of three committees: business, uh, rule committee, and general purpose committee. So BRG, BRG committee. Okay. Now, since the office of speaker is of quite importance, there are certain efforts being made so as to keep it impartial. These are, first of all, he has given a security of tenure. Then his conduct cannot be discussed within normal proceedings. His conduct can only be discussed in a substantive motion. Now this is very important point. On a substantive motion he can be discussed, and he can only be removed by resolution passed. His salaries are on consolidated fund of India. Then his power to regulate order and business decorum. He is given a very high position equivalent to Chief Justice of India. In a British, uh, speaker is a non-party man and resigns from the party from which he has been elected. In India, we do not see this. Now we come to the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. Again, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha is elected member. His date of election is not given by president, but is given by the speaker himself after he gets elected. Then he remains in office until the life of Lok Sabha. However, again three vacancies can be there. Ceases to become the member, gives his resignation to speaker, or is removed by simple by majority of members present voting and majority of the house. He performs his duty. Deputy speaker performs the duty when the office is vacant. See, uh, he takes care of the office when speaker is post is vacant, also when he is absent. Okay, he can also take over the joint session of the joint sitting of the parliament. Also, it is to be noted that deputy speaker is not subordinate to speaker. He is directly responsible to the house. Also, he is having one extra privilege, that whenever he is a member of any committee, he automatically becomes its head. However, in the normal times, he is just a normal member, and he can speak and vote in the first instance. Now we look at some of the conventions which have developed over a period of time. But before that, it is to be noted that deputy speaker's salary is also regular and is on consolidated fund of India. Later it was also from 10th Lok Sabha, it was decided कि speaker would be from main party and deputy speaker would be from main opposition party. Another very important point is that deputy speaker and speaker have need not to go through any different oath or affirmation while getting to their offices. Now we look at a brief history of the post of speaker. The institution of speaker and deputy speaker originated in uh, Monte Chelmsford reform after in 1919. Okay, when they were implemented in 1921. So in 1921, first time these posts came, before which Governor General of India or the governor of the constituency used to head the central legislative. So the first speaker was Indian, was in 1925, was Vitthal J. Patel. Okay, he was the first speaker in Central Legislative Council. However, it also needs to be understood that initially these posts were named as President and Deputy President of House. However, 1935 Act changed this nomenclature to Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Now there is also, now we come to the panel of chairmen in Lok Sabha. It is to be understood that there are 10 panel of chairmen in Lok Sabha, which is appointed by Speaker. It is to be noted that here MCQ can ask you whether it is President or Speaker who appoint this panel. So it is Speaker who appoints this panel. Okay, any of them can preside over the house when there is an when there is uh, when there is absence and not a vacancy. Okay, when vacancy is there, president decides. Again remember this point. So panel of chairmen can only work in absence. Okay, not in vacancy. In vacancy of speaker and deputy speaker, a person who becomes speaker is decided by the president of India. Then we have a pro tem speaker. So pro tem speaker would be the senior most a person who becomes who becomes the presiding officer for few hours or few days until the speaker is elected. Okay, so it's a temporary post. Okay, now we come to the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, since the chairman of Rajya Sabha is ex officio member, vice president. So, vice president of our country is ex officio chairman to Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now it has to be understood that this chairman of Rajya Sabha can only be removed if he is removed from the post of vice president of our country. Until then he cannot be removed from his office. In the power and privileges, all the other matters of this Rajya Sabha's chairman is same with that of Lok Sabha, except in two provisions. One is cannot decide on money bill. Secondly, he cannot be the head of joint sitting. Also, he is not a member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, and so while his removal is being discussed, okay, his removal is being discussed, he can be there in the house, but he cannot vote. Okay, then we come to the okay again his salary uh, and his expenses are on a consolidated fund of India. Okay, then we come to the deputy speaker or deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. Again, deputy chairman is again very same. He is elected. He is not an ex officio member. He is elected from the members of Rajya Sabha. His vacancies would be again three. If he ceases to be member, he writes to chairman. He is removed by a resolution passed by members. He presides the duty of the chairman when there is a vacancy over there. Okay, okay, yes, he presides over the Rajya Sabha when if there is a vacancy in a chairman, or there is an absenteeism, or he is not able to perform his duty otherwise. Also, it has to be understood that he is not he is not subordinate to is not deputy chairman is not subordinate to the chairman, and he is equally responsible to the house itself. His expenses are also on consolidated fund of India. Again, it must be emphasized here that the panel of vice chairmen in Rajya Sabha are appointed by the chairman or the vice president of our country. These are panel members are those who, in the absence of deputy speaker or speaker, presides over the house. However, they cannot preside over if there is a vacancy of both the houses. In that such a scenario, again, president of our country would decide. Now we come to very small other few topics. uh, Number first is Secretariat of Parliament. Each house is having a secretariat or people, uh, its own staff, and they are headed by the Secretary General. Secretary General, and the Secretary General is nominated by the the Speaker of the House or the presiding officer of the House. Okay, then the Leader of the House. Okay, in Parliament, the Leader of the House. Okay, in the rules of Lok Sabha, leaders of the house would mean Prime Minister of the country. Okay, if he is the member of Lok Sabha, or minister which is appointed by Prime Minister. Okay, however, in Rajya Sabha, Leader of opposition would be either a minister or a member of Rajya Sabha presided by or appointed by Prime Minister for the same work. Then we have leader of opposition. It has to be understood. First of all, who is a leader of opposition? Of opposition is the leader of the main opposition party, and uh, it for getting the position of main opposition party, at least 1/10 of the seat should be there with that party. In parliamentary form of government, we know opposition plays a very important role, and hence leader of opposition leader of opposition plays a very significant role. In 1977, this rank this rank was given statutory backup in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the leader of opposition is given all the facilities of a cabinet member is given. Okay. In British parliamentary system, the same is known as the shadow or the alternative prime minister or shadow cabinet. Okay. Then we come to the last topic, that is whip. Okay, whip of a party is neither it is written in constitution. Okay, so whip is neither mentioned in constitution nor in a rule of procedures of our country. It is based on mere parliamentary conventions. Now, what are the functions of an whip? Whip of an political party takes care of the voting and maintains the attendance or decorum, or what we say discipline among the members of a parliament. It became very important after 10th schedule regarding defecation was implemented. So this was all for today. We'll be completing others of parliament tomorrow. Thank you.